All right, so today we're going to talk about the writing assignment that we're going to start. As you know, I'm going to take you to the library today so everybody has a chance to make sure you can log in and do all of the things that you need to do and get on Google Classroom, which you were supposed to have already been able to do. But, that way I'll kind of be there to help you if you need a little walkthrough in the beginning. So what is this assignment? Well, we finished up with Allegory of the Cave. You should be intimately familiar with it. But in Allegory of the Cave, we saw that when a person becomes enlightened, he or she has a responsibility, it's the teaching of this allegory anyway, to lead others to enlightenment. However, Plato warns that the public may not be comfortable, or may be comfortable with their lives, or so comfortable with their lives, that they don't really want to change. And that's the way a lot of us are, okay? So, they may not accept the teaching of the enlightened one, right? You kind of saw that, didn't you? Remember when the guy goes back in the cave and so on? They may even attack or kill the one who's challenging their closely held beliefs. Now, that's an allegory. It's a made-up story to prove a point. However, this happens in real life too. So what I'm going to ask you to do for your writing assignment is to write 4 little paragraphs. Easy enough, right? But what do we need in these paragraphs? Now, this is posted as an assignment on Google Classroom. I posted it this morning. So I'm sure you got a notification that it was on there. And I'll say this now, your final product will be submitted on Google Classroom. Okay, you're not going to bring it in and hand it to me. All right, so just make sure everybody gets that in case you haven't looked at the assignment yet. So what are we going to do? Oops. I have 4 groups of people up here. And you're going to choose one person from each group. So you'll have a total of 4. Well, one person from each group about whom you're going to write. For each person you choose, you're going to compose one paragraph in which you explain, all right, the major belief that he or she was challenging. Okay? So what did the general public believe? What was the major belief in the general public that this person, whichever one you choose, was challenging? You with me? Now, that's a lot of times not spelled out for you. You have to extrapolate from what they're saying, what's being challenged. All right? So you're going to do that for one person in each group. Then you're going to tell what his or her belief was. So what's being challenged, and what is his or her belief in that context, the public's general reaction to his or her teaching, okay, because like in the Allegory of the Cave, the so-called enlightened one, a lot of times is not accepted, right? So what happens here? And then you're going to give your qualified support or a qualified challenge to the historical character's main assertion. You with me? So their main assertion is their belief, their argument, right? About a certain topic, a certain belief. What is it? So you're going to either support what the one, let's say you pick Thomas More. Okay, you're either going to support what Thomas More said, or you're going to challenge what Thomas More said. But it's going to be qualified support or a qualified challenge. Now, what does that mean? For the purpose of this class, look over here on the board. Draw you a little line right here. Okay? Circle here, line in the middle. You can stand up in the back if you need to see this, okay? This is support. This is challenge. And this is ambivalent. Don't care either way. Here in the middle. We call it straddling the fence, right? Now, for the purposes of our writing, and in this class in general from here on out, I don't want you to ever be in 100% support of anything or anybody, or 100% opposed. to any idea. Just completely, you cannot admit that the other side has anything worthwhile. For the purposes of this class and the writing we do in here, that's not allowed. Okay? Now, there's one other thing that isn't allowed, and that's this right here, being in the middle. You can't be a fence straddler in this class. And I know I still see things pop up over the years. Students write like they did in middle school. You know, well, here's this side, here's that side, now you decide. Right? Now, some of y'all are kind of snickering and got that look on your face because you know what I'm talking about because you've done it. Okay? We don't do that anymore. You must be somewhere in here or in here. Right? You remember the videos, the student videos y'all watched? A lot of them were talking about, you know, you had to lean one way or another and all that kind of. This is what they're talking about. This is what they're talking about. You lean one way, you lean the other way. You know, you can go way over here, but you're never 100% for or against anything in here. So you qualify your support or you qualify your opposition or challenge, okay? So that we have to remember. Now, having said that, let's go back to what I was talking about here. This is what's going to be in each paragraph. So you're going to have 4 total paragraphs. Well-researched, well-thought-out paragraphs, but 4 paragraphs. One person from each category. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty here. It must be labeled. By labeled, I mean have the person's name on there somewhere. Okay? It's going to be typed, Times New Roman, 12-point, double-spaced, and it has to be submitted on Google Classroom by Sunday night, 11:59. Another thing, you need to cite your sources. And I put in here they must be primary only using MLA format. Now, I'm going to say primary sources. Okay, let's just leave it on. Well, let me tell you what I mean. No Wikipedia. Does that mean you can't use Wikipedia? Absolutely not. But when you look up something in Wikipedia, you know, at the bottom they've got the little tabs. You know, when you're reading it, it's got the footnotes and all that kind of stuff, numbers. And if you click on those, it takes you to the sources down at the bottom and tells you where they got that. That stuff you get down at the bottom, we'll consider that primary sources. Right? So if you're reading about somebody and there's something in there that sounds interesting that you might want to include or, you know, want to investigate further, click on that source. It'll take you down to the bottom and click on the source where that came from, and then you can, that's your primary source. Okay, but we don't cite Wikipedia. All right, you with me there? I want the primary sources. All right, another thing I don't have on here, but I learned this first period, I figured this out first period. Do not, while you're working and so on, don't save your work to the Z drive, okay? Save it to your Google Drive, and all of you have a Google Drive, in case you didn't know that. I think most of you know that, okay? Save your work as you're going to your Google Drive, then you can access it from anywhere. Access it from home or whatever. You can only access the Z drive from here at school. So don't save your work on the Z drive. Save it on the Google Drive. All right, is there anything I need to clarify about that part? Because I have one more thing I want to talk to you about here in just a second, okay? Are we good on the mechanics of this and the assignment? Everybody's good on what we need to be doing? If you need more clarification, you can ask me when we get to the library and work on computers. Okay. Now, I noticed first period there was a student who was writing about Socrates, and the student said something like, you know, Socrates challenged the beliefs of the people he lived with. Okay. And that was their first thing. Well, so this student was saying that what was being challenged was the beliefs of the people, right? That doesn't tell me anything. What were those beliefs? You need to spell that out for me. Now, I know you're going to talk about what his or her belief was later, but you still need to show me that you understand what it was that he or she was challenging. You with me? You have to demonstrate that you understand this. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that. All right. Anything else is there anything you want to ask? Let's get it clear right now before we go. Yes?
While we were getting today to work on this?
You have today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow at school. Now, I don't generally do that, but since this is the first one we're doing, I'm giving you class time today and tomorrow to work through so that, you know, you can help each other. I can help you, whatever. From here on, when we have assignments, you'll be responsible for doing them on your own. But since this is the first one, I want to give you time to do the class, okay? Anything else? We will dismiss from the library, so take your stuff when you go. All right, let me turn this camera off before everybody jumps up.
Already heard about